Happy Friday out there, folks. This is Darius Dale to present our macro minute for Friday, November 19th, 2021. OpEx Friday for those of you out there paying attention. Starting with markets, we got stocks mixed with Asia up and US and Europe down. Commodities mixed this morning. Crypto mixed as well. The dollar up, global bond yields down. Big movers today. We got net gas up 1.5%, WTI down 3%, Ethereum up 3%. And then you have 10-year bond yields in Germany, the UK, Switzerland, and obviously the US, all down 5 to 7 basis points each. So that's a pretty big move relative to the recent dynamics. On the economic front, sticking with policy this morning, we have President Biden's economic agenda goes to the House for a vote later today after being delayed in the House by House Minority Leaders Kevin McCarthy's 8-hour speech that lasted till 5 a.m. this morning. I mean, talk about talk about a filibuster. That's a pretty solid one. So now the bill's been slimmed down to about 1.64 trillion. It's down from obviously the 3.5 trillion price tag, which we all knew was not going to pass, but it's actually even further down from 1.75 trillion, which they put out there a couple months ago. The CBO scored it the other day, and it contains 1.636 trillion of new spending, while raising 1.269 trillion of new revenue over the next 10 years. That would obviously add about 370 billion to the U.S. budget deficit over the next decade. In our opinion, and this we've been talking about this for a while now, that's the number the bill has to be further haircut by to make it past Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema in the Senate. I don't believe they're going to allow the bill to add any incremental debt to the budget deficit. With respect to today's probable range setups, nothing overbought, oversold. You got an oversold signal in WTI, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the 10-year bond yield in Germany, the 10-year gilt yield in the UK, and the 10-year Swiss yield, obviously in Switzerland. S&P 500 probable range minus 1.2% downside versus 1.9% upside. WTI probable range 0% downside versus 6% upside, 16% upside. Sorry. Bloomberg Dollar Index minus 1.4% downside versus 0.4% upside. 10-year treasury yield minus 6 basis points of downside versus 22 basis points of upside. Bitcoin it's still at the lower bound of its probable range, 0% of downside. Probable range versus 25% upside to 71,000. Ethereum 0% downside versus 26% upside to $5,200. And then lastly, you have gold minus 2.7% downside versus 2% upside. And then just lastly, turn it over to the chart here. We got the value to growth ratio. These are one of our four horsemen of market risks we use to identify kind of changing winds within the equity market, and obviously as a leading indicator for the direction of equity beta. This thing making a new low is sorry, got to get my pen ready this morning for this thing making a new low is telling. One, it tells you that the economic environment that we're experiencing in Q4 of this year and into the early part of next year is very different than the economic environment that got this thing off its butt from November through June, which somebody called for that. And so I think this is it's a pretty interesting indicator as it relates to a dwindling fiscal impulse in the economy heading into next year. So keep your eyes on your fries there. With that, Darius Dale presenting our macro minute for Friday, November 19th, 2021. Go Bulldogs tomorrow.